This is Pete Wlodkowski with AmateurGolf.com. I'm here with Bob Lamkin, the President and CEO of Lamkin Corporation. For over 85 years, Lamkin Corporation has been manufacturing grips. And this year, there's a new material out called 3Gen. What is it, Bob, and how does it benefit avid golfers?
Pete, good to see you again. It's
You
always
too.
good to spend time with you. The 3Gen material was really born out of the change in the grip category over the last several years of going to colored grips. Obviously, traditionally, grips have always been black because black has been the material that we've used in our grips that have produced the most longevity and consistency. And as grips have gone into colors, we have to pull out the durability properties out of the material. Consequently, the grips were wearing out prematurely against the standard traditional black materials. So what we did is we went in and we challenged our suppliers, our material suppliers, to come up with a color material that does a couple things. One, it feels good, it looks good, and it also lasts as long as a black rubber grip. And we feel that we've accomplished that with the 3Gen material.
And it's white, which is very unique.
Right.
At least one of the models is now. A white grip might be shocking to some players. Is it going to retain dirt? Is it going to be cleanable?
Right. And there's a method to the madness with the white. We made it white for a couple of reasons. One, it does significantly stand out at point of sale and on the range, so it's very visible and distinctive to Lamkin. But two, what the white grip will do, sure, it's going to get dirty, and what we're trying to get the players to do is encourage them to maintenance their grips, to actually wipe them down, clean them up, because when you put a wet towel and a dry towel on this new material, it immediately revibrates the material, it refreshes it, it reactivates it, it gets it back to its original condition of tackiness. So the white is there for cosmetic purposes, but when the grip starts to get dirty, that's a signal to the player to actually towel down and actually wipe down the grip and get it back to its original state.
Well, that's a great idea, and it sure looks good on a golf club. It's very distinctive, and we're going to talk to some players about what they think about the grip. There is a shape to the grip that's unique as well. At least one of the models, the Performance Plus, has a different shape than some traditional grips as far as their taper goes.
Right. Here, the history on Performance Plus and the size of the grip really originated a couple years ago. I made some attempts to go out and talk to the tour players, their needs for grips, what they felt was important. And what I found out, not only at the tour player level, but at the amateur level, is that people were actually altering the size of their grip through tape and building up different portions of the grip. So what we did with the Performance Plus, hence the word plus, we made the grip with a little less taper and slightly oversized going down through the grip. And what that did was, from the tour player feedback, is what it allowed the player to marry his hands together more as a unit and then control his shot shape and also control his hand pressure.
Makes a lot of sense. You're building that right into the grip. As far as the other model that we're talking about today, it's called an Endure. That may have a little more traditional shape, and if I'm not incorrect, a more firm feel?
Well, the Endure, what we did with the Endure is that it still has the slightly oversized Performance Plus characteristic, but what we did is we changed the underneath layer of the grip to act more as a cord feel for traditional players that like the cord grips. So what we did is we redesigned the underneath surface of that grip with a series of cylinders, and they have varying depths from the top part of the grip all the way through the grip. So again, the characteristic of the Endure grip is to be able to get that light hand pressure with that dual surface material.
And you have a spokesperson or an affiliate named Arnold Palmer, one of the great ambassadors of the game. How did that relationship come about?
Well, the first time I met Arnold Palmer was when I was 15 years old in Chicago working the Western Open parking lot. And my father back then, at that time, still most of the players, a lot of players used leather grips. And Mr. Palmer always used Lamkin leather grips. So my dad sent me off and scurried me down the street with a box of grips for Arnold Palmer. And I remember him pulling up into the front of the clubhouse at Butler National in Chicago. And I ran up to him and I said, "Mr. Palmer, I'm Bob Lamkin Jr. My father asked you to give these grips to you." And sure enough, very, very consistent with Mr. Palmer, he opens up the trunk of his car, rips off his grips and regrips them right there in the parking lot, throws a little electrical tape on them, and off he goes.
What a great story.
So that was my first interaction with Arnold Palmer. And then years later, we reconnected and formed a friendship, actually, first. And then, obviously, we felt that he was such a wonderful fit from a historical standpoint in the game of golf, tying in for our history of our company. And I couldn't ask for a better person to represent Lamkin than Arnold Palmer.
Have to agree with you there. You're a scratch player yourself. You know a lot about the game. Your family's been in the business. You've lived your life in the golf business. When you play with avid players, what is the biggest misconception that they have about golf grips?
Well, I think the biggest misconception that the average player, but still a core player who really cares about the game at any level, is that the grip doesn't matter. And we feel that the grip is your first connection to the golf club. So every time that you sit down, your first connection and only connection to the golf club is through your grip. So it's very important to me, if I was going to convey a message to people who really want to play better golf, is to pay attention to their grips, to pay attention to their grip size, okay, and to maintenance their grips, either by replacement or actually washing them down, cleaning them up, and reactivating that material for tackiness. Because the major component in a good golf swing is light hand pressure. And if you have a grip that's fresh and tacky, you're not going to have a tendency, what I call, to choke the grip and keep that pressure in your hands and your forearms. So what we want the avid player at any level of ability is to realize is that the golf grip isn't just a handle on the club, it's your connection to the golf club, and it will actually help you play better golf if you actually pay attention to it.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with us, Bob.
Pete, thanks a lot. It's always good to see you.
Let's go hit some balls.